Hello, my name is Gary, and I was raised in the Western United States, so I'm a native English speaker. I hope that you will enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.
The 38 Letters from J D Rockefeller to His Son by J D Rockefeller, 1839 to 1937. The 21st letter. Insults are driving forces. February 27, 1901. Dear John, your mother and I were pleasantly surprised at the way you negotiated with Mr. Morgan. We had no idea that you would have the courage to confront him, and moreover, you handled it with poise and well-spoken words and thoroughly controlled your opponent. Thank God for allowing us to have such wonderful children like you. In a letter, you told me that Mr. Morgan was rude to you and intended to insult you, and I think you were right. In fact, he was trying to take revenge on me by humiliating you. You know, this time Morgan proposed to form an alliance with me because he was worried that I would pose a threat to him. I believe he was reluctant to cooperate with me because he knows that he and I are carriages running on two different roads and neither of us likes the other. I feel sick when I see his complacent, arrogant look. I think it must have made him uncomfortable when he sees me. Morgan is a business wizard. He knows that I don't care about Wall Street, and I'm not afraid of his threats to me. So if he wants to realize his ambition to rule the U.S. steel industry, he must cooperate with me. Otherwise, waiting for him will be a life-or-death competition. People who are good at thinking and acting know that arrogance and prejudice must be eliminated, and they know that they must never let personal prejudices hinder their success. Mr. Morgan is such a person. So even though Mr. Morgan didn't want to deal with me, he asked me if I could meet him in the Standard Oil president's office. Whoever perseveres to the last minute in a negotiation is the winner, so I told Morgan. I'm retired, and I'd be happy to meet you at my house if you want. Morgan actually came, but his words were obviously a little condescending, but he never dreamed that when he asked specific questions, I would say, I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan, I'm retired, and I think my son John will be happy to talk to you about that deal. Only a fool wouldn't see that I was blatantly contemptuous of Morgan, but he restrained himself and told me he hoped I could come to his Wall Street office to talk. I said yes. Taking revenge on others is attacking yourself. Mr. Morgan didn't seem to understand this truth. To relieve his anger, he vented his anger on you. But anyway, I appreciate that Mr. Morgan kept his eye on what he wanted to achieve despite my blatant insults to him. My son, we grow up in a society that seeks dignity, and I know what it means to be humiliated for a person who loves dignity. But many times, no matter who you are, even the President of the United States of America is powerless to stop insults from others. So what should we do? Is it to fight back in anger and defend in dignity, or treat each other with tolerance and generosity, or respond in other ways? You may remember that I have always treasured a group photo of my middle school classmates. There was no me there, just children from wealthy families. Decades later, I still cherish it, and even more cherish the situation of taking that photo. It was one afternoon, the weather was good, and the teacher told us that there was a photographer coming to take pictures of the students in class. I took pictures, but it was very rare, because for a poor child, taking pictures was a luxury. As soon as the photographer appeared, I imagined the scene of being captured on camera, smiling, more handsome, naturally, and even starting to imagine going home and telling my mother, as if telling a good news, Mom, I took a photo. Yes, the photographer took it, and it was amazing. I stared at the photographer leaning over the frame with excited eyes, hoping he would pull me into the camera sooner. But I was disappointed because the photographer, who seemed to be an athlete, stood up straight, pointing at me and said to my teacher, Can you get that student out of his seat? His clothes are so shabby. I was a weak student who was under the command of the teacher. I couldn't resist. I only stood up silently and created a beautiful view for the well-dressed children of rich families. At that moment, I felt my face getting hot, but I didn't get angry. I didn't feel sorry for myself, and I didn't complain that my parents didn't let me dress properly. In fact, they did everything they could to help me get a good education. Watching the photographer taking pictures, I clenched my hands in my pockets and solemnly swore to myself, one day I will become the richest person in the world. My son, my oath at that time has become a reality. In my eyes, the meaning of the word insult has changed. It is no longer a sharp blade that strips my dignity, but a powerful driving force, like an overwhelming force urging me forward, urging me to pursue all good things. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the photographer inspired a poor kid to become the richest man in the world. Everyone has the time to enjoy applause, to confirm their achievements, or to affirm their moral character. There are also times when we are attacked and insulted without malice. I think the reason why we're being insulted is because of our poor ability. In short, we don't generate respect from others. I want to say that being insulted is not a bad thing. If you are a person who knows how to calmly reflect, you may think that insults are a measure of competence, and that is what I did. I know that any slight insult can hurt dignity. However, dignity is not given by God or by others. It is created by you. Dignity is a spiritual product that you enjoy by yourself. Everyone's dignity belongs to themselves. If you think you have dignity, then you have dignity. So if someone hurts your feelings, your dignity will not be shaken. If you maintain your dignity, no one can hurt you. My son, your relationship with yourself is the beginning of all relationships. And when you believe in yourself and are in harmony with yourself, you are your most faithful companion. Love your father.